My name is Dr. Ivy Branin. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and we've been talking about sleep. We've been talking about sleep because it's so important for a healthy immune system. And now more than ever, we want to make sure that our immune system is functioning properly. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the circadian rhythm. And I'm assuming that you've probably heard of the circadian rhythm and have always just kind of considered it as the rhythm that governs sleep. And that's partly true, but really the circadian rhythm refers to our body clock. And this body clock, governed by the suprachiasmatic nucleus found in the hypothalamus, governs other bodily processes like blood pressure, the secretion of hormones, our oxygen consumption, but yes, it definitely governs sleep. So we can look here at this. This is the circadian rhythm. And when we're thinking about the sleep part of the circadian rhythm, the hormone melatonin comes to mind. And you probably have heard of melatonin before, specifically if you've been in like a Duane Reade or a health food store and are looking for a sleep aid, you probably have seen melatonin. And the reason it can be used as a sleep aid is because when specifically we're looking at the circadian rhythm, basically the secretion of melatonin induces sleep, and it's secreted, and then as the night progresses, as we're sleeping, towards the daylight, towards morning, secretion actually stops. So it's governed primarily by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is, again, as I said before, the main body that is governing the circadian rhythm or the body clock. But it's also governed by another factor. That factor is light, specifically blue light. So blue light naturally does come from the sun. If we think about that acronym from grade school, Roy G. Biv, basically indicating the different colors of the spectrum of light. But specifically when we're thinking about blue light and melatonin, something we want to think about is things that we use all the time. Things like our smartphones, our tablets, our computers, also if we're using LED light bulbs. All these have a high concentration of blue light. Why that's a problem is that blue light actually suppresses melatonin secretion. Now, we only really need melatonin to be secreted before bed. We don't need it like secreting all day long. But if we're using these types of gadgets before bed, we are suppressing melatonin secretion. So it's really a good idea to avoid blue light about 2 hours before going to bed. Easiest would be just to turn off our gadgets, but if that does not appeal to you, either utilizing a screen that blocks out blue light, or most gadgets, specifically I use an iPhone, have an option where you can actually change the light setting to a different type of light that doesn't have blue light emitted. Another thing when it comes to light, specifically blue light, actually getting some blue light, specifically earlier in the day, preferably in the morning, is very beneficial when it comes to melatonin secretion. So avoiding it at night, but making sure that we get it in the daytime hours. There's two other things that we can do to also manipulate melatonin secretion. The first is exercise. So actually exercising earlier in the day, preferably in the morning, actually improves melatonin secretion at night. But then on the flip side, getting exercise in the evening actually has the opposite effect. I mean, this could also be because most of us that work out at night, we're probably going to a gym thinking like bright lights, loud music, TVs, all these kinds of things that also affect melatonin, but the actual studies have shown the actual exercise itself later has an impact on melatonin. The last thing that we can do to influence melatonin is eating, specifically eating regularly. More specific, having a schedule. So our bodies really, really like it when we do the same thing and are kind of boring. So having a set breakfast, lunch, and dinner time is actually more optimal for melatonin. So not varying more than a few hours each day. Another thing when we're thinking about like meals or meal planning, having a larger breakfast, lunch, and then a lighter dinner is actually better for sleep as well. One way we can use this meal timing to benefit us is actually in jet lag prevention. And there's a specific protocol, it's called the Argonne protocol, that utilizes manipulating meal times. And that's actually the protocol I use to prevent jet lag. And I wrote, if you go to my website, I wrote a blog on how to use the Argonne protocol and some other things so that you don't have to experience jet lag, and it's exactly what I use. So let's see. 1, let's avoid blue light, specifically 2 hours, so no gadgets or utilizing screens or settings that block blue light 2 hours before bed, but getting a little bit of blue light, so sunshine earlier in the day. Let's exercise, but in the morning, not at night. Let's get on a proper, regular meal schedule. If we start doing some of these strategies, we should hopefully get a better night's sleep. Again, that's Dr. Ivy Branin of Simplicity Health Associates, Naturopathic Doctor here in New York City. Next time, I'm actually going to be talking about another naturally occurring chemical in our bodies that also governs sleep that you probably haven't heard of. So you want to tune in definitely for our next episode, and looking forward to seeing you then. And otherwise, wishing you a beautiful, amazing night of restorative, rejuvenating sleep. See you next time.